We'll call this meeting to order. The notice requirement provided for the open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice properly given. Said notice having been transmitted to the Courier News on Tuesday, January 6, 2025, as well as posted on the city's website. Clerk, can we have a roll call?
Council members Briggs Jones.
Present.
Cherry.
Present.
Graham.
Present.
McCray.
Present.
Wyatt.
Present.
Vice President Sessoms.
Present.
Council President Hockaday.
Present.
All members present in a quorum.
Okay, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and for peace. Amen.
Amen. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or? Okay, seeing none, minutes have been approved. All right, we'll start with Mayor Mapp. You have a presentation to deny?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Is Sherlock Dow in the room?
Don't see.
Let's hold that until later.
Okay. Well, we'll come right back. All right, next we will move, also with you, we have a proclamation from the mayor. Mayor's office.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
On behalf of Mayor Adrian O'Mapp and the City of Plainfield, it is my distinct honor and privilege to read this proclamation this evening, recognizing, let me put my glasses back on, Deputy Chief Selka Damon in honor of Women's History Month 2025 in the City of Plainfield. Whereas Deputy Chief Selka Damon's groundbreaking career with the Plainfield Fire Department began in July 2007, when she made history as the department's first female firefighter. Over her 18-year career, Deputy Chief Damon has consistently advanced, becoming lieutenant in 2016 and battalion chief in 2020. Her promotion during COVID-19 highlighted her leadership and resilience, supporting citywide emergency services during unprecedented times. And whereas Deputy Chief Damon's commitment to her professional development is evident in her extensive credentials, which include firefighter 1 and 2, emergency medical responder, fire service level 1 and 2 instructor, fire inspector/official, incident management levels 1 through 3, and Plainfield Technical Rescue Team. She's also a graduate of the Dr. Carl Holmes Executive Development Institute at Dillard University and serves on the New Jersey State FMBA Critical Incident Stress Management Team. And whereas Deputy Chief Damon's diverse experience includes assignments to engine, truck, and heavy rescue companies, spearheading Fire Prevention Bureau outreach, she has strengthened safety programs and expanded services to Plainfield's Hispanic community, ensuring that language is never a barrier to safety. She's also held key leadership roles in operations and training. And whereas Deputy Chief Damon embodies patriotism and selfless service and has been recognized as a hometown hero A 25-year military veteran, she served in the Marine Corps Reserve and the New Jersey Army National Guard with 2 deployments to Iraq. Her commitment extends to Homeland Service, including mobilizations in support of New Jersey's COVID-19 pandemic response and security for the 2021 presidential inauguration in Washington, D.C. And whereas Deputy Chief Damon's career powerfully highlights the potential of women and minorities in public service, her journey proves dedication achieves dreams and representation matters. Her faith is her strength and fuels her resilience and service. Her young daughter, Imani, is why, as well as her joy and inspiration.
Damn.
And whereas Deputy Chief Damon's recent promotion during Black History Month culminates her distinguished career and recognizes her as New Jersey's first African-American female deputy chief, Plainfield's first female deputy chief, and only the second woman in New Jersey to achieve the rank. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor of the city of Plainfield, on behalf of its residents, proudly recognizes this historic accomplishment during Women's History Month, and be it further proclaimed that the city of Plainfield encourages all residents to celebrate and recognize the significance of Deputy Chief Damon's promotion. This monumental moment symbolizes progress, leadership, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
It gives me great pleasure to present this proclamation to Deputy Chief Selkat Damon. She has earned this, but this also sends a message to all women, and especially young girls, that you can accomplish anything. And so Deputy Chief Selkat is an example to all of you, to all of us. And so it is with pleasure that I present you with this proclamation.
Good evening, everyone. I do want to thank everyone for the round of applause you've given me. I've been with the fire department a long time, so this isn't the first that I've had, so a lot of it feels like I'm repeating the same thing, but as I realize the spaces that I show up in that weren't made for me, and I've had the opportunity to make them my own, I realize the importance of it. We have the Girl Scouts that are here today, and I know this troop did come and visit us at the firehouse, and we have a whole group of young women that know that the fire department, emergency service is a possibility for them. I know we don't get to see a lot of women in the careers that we do, and it's important that we have representation. If you can't see it, how can you be it? You don't understand some of the things that you can do if you're not aware, if you're showing up and people don't look like you, if it's never presented as a possibility. So I want to thank you, and I appreciate the proclamation. My fire director, the mayor, the administration here, they've definitely supported me through my journey and all of the programs that we have for public safety, and I just want to say that I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Council, join front for a picture. Councilwoman Sherry, the floor is yours.
There we go. Good evening, everyone. Does everybody know what week this is? Girl Scouts. What week is this? Okay. All right, we're going to try one more time. Girl Scouts, what week is this? Amazing. I want to bring up President and CEO Natasha Hemmings and present her for this amazing proclamation. I want to first publicly acknowledge all the hard work that you do and your Scout leaders in pouring into our little girls. Again, representation matters. So on behalf of the entire City Council, we're going to present you with this calcimatic resolution. Whereas on March 12th marks the 113th anniversary of the Girl Scouts of United States, the largest and the most successful leadership program for girls in the world. Whereas Girl Scouts has played a pivotal role in empowering girls and young women, emphasizing public service, civic engagement, and fostering a sense of community. Whereas the Girl Scout Hearts of New Jersey celebrates a significant milestone this year in the city of Plainfield, boosting almost 300 girls and members. Amazing. Let's clap for that. And this follows a historic partnership with the Plainfield Board of Education, which launched in September 2023. So therefore, be it resolved that the Plainfield City Council recognizes the importance of all-girls space offered by Girl Scouts and declares that March 12th, 2025 as Girl Scouts Day, and designates that March 9th through the 15th, 2025 as Girl Scout Week in the city of Plainfield. But before, I also want to thank you for all the extra calories you're going to be bringing into the city of Plainfield. So for those that are interested in purchasing Girl Scouts, you could easily go to the website, put in your zip code, and you could identify where there will be Girl Scouts being selling cookies in the city of Plainfield. Congratulations.
I want to say thank you to the council for recognizing Girl Scout Week. This is a very special year for me personally. This is my 25th year in the Girl Scout movement. And when I started as a little girl from Plainfield, Girl Scouts wasn't a part of my life. I wasn't a Girl Scout growing up, and I grew up here in the city of Plainfield. So to be here 25 years later and to know that there are over 300 Girl Scouts in the city when only 7 years ago there were 73 Girl Scouts in the city. You know, so it is a huge accomplishment. I want to, in addition to thanking the council and the mayor's administration for supporting Girl Scouting, every single time I step forward and say, there's something I want to do for girls here in the city, you've always been extremely supportive, and so I thank you. We talked earlier today with our service unit manager, Miss Nancy Jordan. You all know Miss Nancy. When we were preparing for today, and I said, I think maybe we'll need about 20 seats in the municipal chamber today. Well, I think that we filled all of those 20 plus some more with these new Girl Scouts who are here serving in the city of Plainfield, not just selling cookies, but serving in the city of Plainfield. I also want to make sure that I recognize my sister, Assemblywoman Linda Carter. She serves on the Girl Scout Heart of New Jersey Board of Directors and has for the last 4 years. And she's here with us this evening as well. She's no stranger to these chambers and no stranger to Girl Scouts, and is a Girl Scout alum herself. And the leaders who are here. We could not do Girl Scouting in the city of Plainfield without our partnership with the Plainfield Board of Education, nor with those adults who stand up for girls. And so these leaders, I would love for you all to join me in having them stand and giving them a round of applause, because we could not do it without them. I do not take this job lightly. and it is a serious undertaking that I wake up to every day. I want the girls who are here to know that this chamber is your chamber. This is the place that you see leaders in front of you making laws and making changes within the city and being the change makers that are going to bring about great things for the city. And so don't allow this to be your first and only time in these chambers. The administration, as well as our council members, want to hear from you more than tonight. So I invite you, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Plainfield, to return here beyond Girl Scout Week. Challenge authority. Ask questions. Be a part of the change that you want to see in the City of Plainfield. This 300, I predict by next year will be 400 or 500 because of the partnerships that we have been able to have and the support that the city has given us along the way. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you for this proclamation from the City of Plainfield.
I want to invite our Assemblywoman Linda Carter and then our council to come down.
Yep.
And Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to take an opportunity, Mayor Mapp, Council President, and council members, to say thank you. Thank you for continuing to recognize our youth, continuing to be a part of their lives, and showing them what leadership is all about. But I also want to take an opportunity to say to each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you for supporting our young girls. Thank you for being their rocks. Thank you for always looking out for them. But also to each and every one of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. Thank you for all that you do, because you are our future. You are making a difference, and your leaders that are here in the room, I need all the leaders to come on up with me too, real quick, because I had this citation for your leaders based off a Senate and General Assembly citation. Commendation and praise are extended to the Girl Scout Heart of New Jersey and the leaders by the citizenry of the 22nd Legislative District through their elected representatives for your outstanding leadership and willingness. Now this, I need y'all, your willingness to build courage, confidence, and character to each and every one of these young girls who some of you have birthed them, some of you have taken them on as extended family, and some of you just got to know them but will be in their lives the rest of their life to make sure that they know what they can do. Now I need each Girl Scout to stand up for a second. Repeat after me. I am smart. Oh, I know y'all can do that. Smart. I am beautiful. I am proud. I am a Girl Scout. And I am a change maker. Keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations. Okay. I don't know, but I just got a whole bunch of folks up here, and I know the council probably won't invite me back anymore. Okay. Come on, council. Come on here. You know? Come on, girls. Come on, girls.
Put the little ones in the front. Little ones in the front, big ones in the back. That's it. Little ones in the front, tall ones in the back. There you go.
Oh, you two sisters? I would have never known. Just kidding, just kidding. You're gonna move right there. Come on. See? Teamwork makes this dream work. That's all about. Sorry, council. You gotta be up here. Come on. Right on up. Yeah. There we go. Aha. Right there.
You can buy them tonight. The lady with the pink have them tonight. You can buy some cookies tonight.
Okay, that was wonderful. That was an awesome kickoff to Women's Month, wouldn't you say? I like my Thin Mints frozen, right? Put them in the freezer. Yeah, all right. I do have my money on me.
Sorry, gotta always make sale.
Yeah. Yeah, I have money. So, the Girl Scouts, I know you probably have homework. So, you do not have to stay for the rest of the meeting, although you are welcome to. But
When you saw Jet, what did you say?
You can get like 3 Thin Mints. Go ahead.
No, I don't like Thin Mints. I only want peanut butter. I don't like no other. Okay. Sandwiches.
yeah, that should be fine.
Patties. That must be something new. Yeah, the orange box.
Okay, the next item is just an announcement regarding the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee. We are doing everything we can to get started a little earlier as requested and suggested by the CBAC last year. So we are going to ask for all council members to have in their CBAC nominations by March 18th for consideration so we can begin with those meetings and deliberations. All right. Thin Mints. We will next move to consideration of public hearing, second reading and final passage. We have ordinances MC 2025-08 through MC 2025-12, which are scheduled for public hearing and final passage for the regular meeting as advertised. We now move on to resolutions. We have legislative body items 14725 through 15125. Do we have a consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Are there any items anyone wishes to take off? Okay, so I heard consensus. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay. Legislative body items have been moved to the voting meeting. Okay, the business administrator, can you present the mayor business administrator item?
Council President, I will present this item. This is to recognize National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And as everyone knows, when there's an emergency and you pick up the phone and you call, these are the people, the very first people that you get when there is an emergency. And these are people that work a very stressful job. And we rely on them each and every day. A day doesn't go by that the telecommunications workers don't receive a call. These are the folks that answer the 911 calls. And so it is important that all of us, not just the administration, but the governing body, recognize these individuals that work just about 24/7, and they're impacted their vacation times, family life. And so it is important for us to recognize these individuals. And so we thought it fitting that together, the administration and council will recognize the fact that these individuals, they sacrifice so much and they save lives each and every day. And so we thought it would be fitting for them to be recognized during Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And I asked the council to join the administration in recognizing these individuals.
Absolutely, and that will be so done. We thank them for their service and the vital service that they provide to the city in times of need. Okay, we'll next move to, well, let's get that to the voting meeting as well. Do we have consensus to add that to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right, any opposition or abstentions? Okay, that should be moved to the voting meeting. Department of Finance, please present your items.
Good evening, Council President.
Good evening.
Council members. I have 5 resolutions for your approval. First one is a resolution authorizing the adoption of the current fund temporary emergency appropriations budget for the months January through June of 2025 prior to the adoption of the 2025 budget in accordance with NJSA 40A4-20. These adjustments were made for grants received and for upfront expenses that had to be made for the July 4th parade. Resolution 154-25 is resolution for member participation in a cooperative pricing system and authorization to enter into a cooperative pricing agreement with Monmouth Ocean Educational Services Commission. And this is mainly for the police department for HVAC services, heating, cooling, ventilation, etc. Resolution 155-25, resolution authorizing the city of Plainfield to enter into contracts with certain state-approved vendors for contracting units pursuant to NJSA 40A 11-11-12A in an amount not to exceed $2,140,000. This is for public safety equipment. Resolution 156-25, resolution authorizing approval to cancel taxes in the amount of $3,675.05 for a person who's 100% disabled veteran. And Resolution 157-25, resolution authorizing tax refunds on properties. And this is for 3 overpayments by CoreLogic, 1 duplicate payment, and then 1 tax appeal. And are there any questions for me?
Do we have questions from council members regarding these resolutions? Go ahead, Councilwoman Cherry.
Thank you. Director Morris-Gill, for R153-25, I see there's a 1,875% increase for Independence Day. Can you explain that?
Independence Day, they had to make all of their upfront expenses for the July 4th parade. So we had to increase the budget for all of that.
It's of the temporary budget, so this is a piece of the budget.
Excuse me?
Go ahead.
It's the same amount of money that we always spend. We're just front-loading it into the temporary budget so that because we have to make all these expenditures in this quarter.
We would
So it's
normally
the-
only give a percentage up until now, but now we have to give the full amount because, like last month, we did fireworks, so that was $30,000 that has to be paid. Then all the other vendors that we're going to have we have to have encumbered the funds to get those contracts. So she's just putting more money, instead of spreading it over the 12 months, she's putting more in the front so that she can spend it now. I mean, obviously there's no expenses after July 4th.
And the cost will not increase for the overall event.
Thank you for that.
Further questions from council members?
Yes. Director, and pardon my ignorance, regarding the sample MOU of 154-25, regarding the sample online MOU agreement that states the agreement is signed by the School Business Administration / School Board Secretary, explain to me why this process for these cooperative agreements comes before council if this is a school board matter.
This is not a school board matter, and this will be adjusted after this resolution is approved tonight. The purchasing agent will adjust this for the mayor's signature, but it has nothing to do with the Board of Ed. It's all an agreement between the city and the co-op.
And
Monmouth.
Councilor, although it talks about the Educational Services Commission, they have a number of these cooperatives across the state, and any municipality or county could become a member of these cooperatives. But in essence, they have nothing to do with, in this case, our local Plainfield Board of Education.
Thank you for that. I was a little confused because I looked at what was the type of services that they provide, and I saw child study team and other academic assessments, so I was a little confused as to, is this a school board matter or a city council matter? So thank you for educating me on that. With regards to 156-25 and the cancellation of taxes for 100% disabled veterans, which, you know, I continue to support, it appears as if we're becoming a city that is, can proudly say that we are a city that welcomes our veterans. Just curious, what year did this initiative get started, and are we tracking the data as to how much we are saving, or how much the veterans are saving relative to what gets canceled?
Well, this is a state statute, which was started in 2019. So it's not like the city is doing this, only the city of Plainfield is doing this. This is throughout New Jersey, and other states do it also. And we are tracking. For the month of February, we had the one for last month, which was $6,783.50. For 2024, we had $178,966. And we can go back to other years, but I'm not sure if we can have the data from like 2019 and all that, but it was a statute from 2019.
No, that's fine. I just think it's a great thing that our city does, or the state does, and I think, you know, Plainfield is going to become known as that community that's welcoming of our veterans and making sure that they can reside here too. So thank you for that information.
100% only.
Any other questions from council members?
Yes, through the chair, just to add to that, Councilwoman Dr. Sessoms. So this is the 100% disabled. It was prior to 2019, that statute, and the tax assessor's office are required to furnish all of the applications. There's a process that they have to follow for the 100% disabled, and forms that they have to, every 3 years, fill out as well. So if you needed a list or a copy of that, the tax assessor's office would be able to provide that. That was it.
Thank you, Councilman.
Okay. All right, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, such items shall be added to the voting meeting. The Police Department, Director, good evening. Floor is yours.
Good evening, Council President.
How are you?
I have 3 items for your consideration. 15825, resolution authorizing approval to pay and accept the New Jersey Division of Highway Safety's Put the Phone Away or Pay Distracted Driver Crackdown Grant. This is a grant that we apply for and receive every year. Every couple of years, we seem to get a boost in it because of the amount of tickets that we generate through this, but we also do education when we're out there. We do, if we do any, what's a good word? Any check, it's not a checkpoint, but if we put people out strategically in the town, we'll put them out, they'll pull some cars over if somebody's on the phone, and we will give them literature instead of writing summonses, so that they have an understanding that they should not be on their phone at this time.
Wow, friendly warning.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice.
That's, I mean, I'm sure when officers are looking, there's a lot of people on their phones while they're
Yes.
driving, you know,
Yes.
so that is a good warning for the community so that they can be safe. All right.
15925 is a resolution authorizing the police department to purchase 2 Chevrolet Malibu LS sedans from Height-Rich Fleet Services, not to include $146,845. This is our continuation of improving the police fleet. It was very outdated over the last 3 years. We have, through the mayor and council, have been able to purchase quite a few vehicles for the city of Plainfield, and also with the help of Director Fields, we have also purchased vehicles through UEZ for our downtown area, like the police precinct that's outside right now. These vehicles help us with our mission to make Plainfield a safer place overall for everyone. So that's what this purchase is about. 16025 is apply and accept the 2024 Memorandum of Understanding regarding the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. This is a grant that we have gotten also for the past 3 years. It's a grant that we have used for various items throughout the police department. I talked about a mandate of improving our traffic enforcement and traffic safety. In the past, we have brought LiDAR units, radar units, computer equipment, made updates, brought police bicycles for downtown units. We've used this money for various ways, and we're looking to use this money here to increase our stationary radar signs throughout the city, to warn people of their speed and, also, widen our footprint.
Okay.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. Does the department yet have a fully or all-electric vehicle yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We will obviously wait until we have the appropriate charging stations put
Right.
throughout the city, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds
But
good.
that's my next plan.
Good. Any questions from council members?
I had one question. For R159-25, for the purchase of the 2 vehicles,
Yes, ma'am.
you noted that it was specialized services. Is it adding to the fleet, or what are the specialized?
We have historically been short in terms of our vehicles. It's actually adding to the fleet that we have. I mean, as vehicles become outdated or overused, we auction them off. Approximately in our patrol fleet, we still have 2 or 3 vehicles like that. 4 or 5 years ago, we had numerous vehicles like that. But like I said, thanks to the mayor and council, we've been able to procure a lot of vehicles over the last 2 to 3 years. This is helping us with that same goal of either supplementing COP or the Detective Bureau or other specialized units throughout the department that we use to do different things throughout the city.
Okay. And I couldn't help but not miss the vehicle outside. Could you elaborate on that?
Oh, yes, the Mobile Command Center, which was purchased through UEZ funding through Director Zenobia Fields here, is a $300,000 vehicle that will be used in the downtown area to help us work on improving the downtown. The mayor gave me an edict several years ago that he wanted the downtown area cleaned up. He wanted it to be a walkable downtown for our citizens where people can live, shop, and play. So that is part of my mission. That vehicle is one of the things that we can use to do that. That vehicle can be in any downtown, any part of the downtown area. It can be on South Avenue, and it'll assist us where it acts as a police department and it expands our footprint. So everything won't have to be based out of this building. We can use that vehicle to go throughout the city, especially in the UEZ areas, and apply our police strategies there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Director?
Yes, ma'am.
15925, because you talked about the vehicles. Is there a maximum mileage capacity before we sunset a municipal vehicle? And if so, do you know how many vehicles are at that maximum mileage capacity?
In the past, I'd say probably before I became the police director, it was probably around 140,000 miles on a vehicle. Those vehicles are, at that point, they're just money pits. We're putting good money after bad, trying to constantly fix them, new transmissions, new brakes, new this, new that. We started putting those vehicles out of service because they were really of no use to us, especially as we started procuring more vehicles. Right now, it's down to 70,000. That's our max when we are looking to get rid of the vehicle. We can still get a good amount of money for the vehicle. And if we transfer it out, it actually works out to our favor. So that's what we've been doing. But we've also, in the past, have loaned vehicles or vehicles have been turned over to DPW, to the parking authority, to help them in what they're trying to do. So, we all kind of work together to improve the vehicle fleet for the city.
Thank you. 15825, does the $8,750 cover the full amount of the overtime that we incur, or does that cover a percentage?
Oh, no, it's a full thing. There's no fiscal impact on the city. The city doesn't pay a dime.
Great. And then my last question with regards to 16025, is that a one-time appropriation of $36,000? Is that one time over the 4-year performance period, or is that $36,000 renewable for each year of the performance period?
It's $36,000 for each year. Like I was saying in the past, every year we get $36,000. It usually takes a while for it to come because it's a lengthy process that we have to go through with the city of Elizabeth. But every year we get approximately $36,000 and we use it, to improve our police operations.
And that's federal DOJ money, correct?
Yes.
Any concerns about that drying up?
No, I think all that money is approved. We don't have to worry about that.
All right, great. Thank you, Director. Keep up the good work.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any council members on my right side? Okay.
Just
Do
a
we-
quick question also.
Go ahead,
I know
right ahead.
what you're saying with the vehicles, that with the purchase. Will,
Yes, ma'am.
Will there be a trade-in as an offset to offset the cost?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
The vehicles.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Will there be an offset, like a trade-in or something to offset the cost of the vehicles?
No, the police department doesn't have a leasing program or something like that where we kind of trade in vehicles. What we do is, I hate to say it this way, we drive them pretty much until the wheels fall off in the past. That's what we've done. And then we usually auction these vehicles off to cab services in different places, and then the city recoups funding from that auction vehicle money, and that's generally what happens.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All right, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? All right, those shall be added. Okay, the Department of Public Works, please present your items.
Good evening, Mr. Council President, members of council. Department of Public Works has 5 resolutions to present. Resolution 16125, authorizing approval for a street opening at 305 Grant Avenue, Design and Development Construction, Inc., for the city of Plainfield through moratorium, 5-year moratorium matter. And this, this is just because it's a new property, a 2-family home that was built, and it's for just gas, water services to be added into the building. And this was done in 2023. This was when the street was paved, so that's why we're trying to get this moratorium approved by the council. Resolution 16225, authorizing approval to utilize the ESC&J Co-op for the purchase of 11 portable electric charging stations placed in the lot from City Hall. And these are level 2 stations, so it'll take like 3.5 hours to charge the vehicles that we have. So we're trying to go green with everything. And these are hybrid vehicles that we currently have in our fleet, Ford Escapes. So they're a combination of electric and gas. They're hybrid vehicles. Resolution 16325, authorizing award of a contract to Fagon Electric, Inc. for the installation of a traffic light at the intersection of Randolph Road and Central Avenue. And that's with Fagon Equipment. In the amount not to exceed $251,686.74. And this is a intersection that really has major issues too, with accident that was taken and everything. So this is going to be something that's good for the city. Resolution 16425, authorizing approval to submit a grant application. This is for to the infrastructure municipal grant, and this is for Fillmore Avenue. And Sumner Avenue. And the total amount for this grant is $270,000. It's a 50% match, $135,000. We'd have to come up, another $135,000 will come from the county. So that's the match for this grant. And 16525 is resolution award of contract for Pheno Builders. That's for resurfacing of first place and second place. The total amount not to exceed $212,212. And we had 7 bidders that bid on this project. The lowest responsible bidder was that number, and with the highest bidder, like $445,014 higher. So lowest responsible bidder was this company called Portofino Builders, LLC. That's in my resolution. Any questions?
Questions from council members?
Yes, Council President.
All right.
So Resolution R162-25, I know last year we approved for 3 charging stations. I believe one was behind City Hall, one was going to be at a historic location.
I'm not familiar.
There wasn't 3 charging stations
No,
for vehicles, electric vehicles?
not yet. This is the
So,
first time.
tonight? Okay.
Right. And this is 11 stations that we're going to be putting in place. We got a $210,000 Department of Community Affairs grant
We did.
to offset the cost for this project.
So this was a grant?
We did apply for a grant once that had a and we talked about 3 charging stations in that application. But that wasn't, as,
So this is the execution of the grant?
no, this is unrelated to that.
Okay.
This is unrelated. We haven't gotten that grant, but we came forward asking to apply for that grant. And in that documentation, which is probably what you're recalling, there was outlines of 3 charging stations. I think one was, there were 3 separate
Yeah.
locations. These are all going in City Hall.
Okay.
In the lot across from City Hall that's now like overflow parking, and these are portable. This is for our fleet, the city fleet. the
Thank,
hybrid fleet.
thank you for the
And
clarification.
the reason why they're portable, so we can move them other places, because that's going to be scheduled for development in the future, so this way it won't be a waste of funds. That's why we ordered portable ones, so we can relocate them. That's it.
Thank you.
Director, with 16125, if I read this correctly, this is PSE&G and American Water generated, so I'm just curious if you could educate me, what is the process for making the residents aware of when we're doing these projects so that they'll know it's going to start here, we project that it's going to end here, so that they can begin to make alternative arrangements around travel and parking and so on and so forth?
Well, this one location here, this is just a 2-family home that was built, a new home. It's a new build. So it's not gonna be nothing of it to do with anyone else but that individual there, because there's no streets being, it's gonna be just closed basically, but not for anything major. The work is being done at the curb for the utilities, it's for the water and the gas upgrades.
So it doesn't impact traffic?
No, it doesn't at all,
Okay.
nothing major at all.
Okay. But the other ones, is there advance notice given to the residents?
Oh, whatever project we do pretty much, it's like this just for this moratorium. Yes, it's just one homeowner to be notified there because it's not impacting anyone else in that area. But all the other projects we have, yes, there's a week notice, a letter goes out to everyone from the contractor of when the work is going to start and end, pretty much. And they'll know that, well in advance, they get that information.
So the onus is on the contractor to notify the residents,
Yes, we
not the
monitor-
city?
And our engineer monitors to make sure that's being done. Okay, so within the immediate area, surrounding area, that's done.
Okay.
Whatever may impact the traffic.
Thank you, Director.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, thou shall be added. We next move to the Department of Economic Development.
Good evening, Council. I have resolutions 166 through 172. So item number 166-25, this is to release a performance bond for 408 to 412 East Front Street. The construction is complete, so there's no longer a need to hold the maintenance bond. The next resolution is related to updating our historic design guidelines. This is also a booklet and information packet. This is to retain Barton Ross Partners, LLC, for professional services to update the guidelines in coordination with our Historic Preservation Commission. It will also allow us to have an opportunity to have outreach with the public and input on what the guidelines contain. Number 168-25, this is an easement agreement for 115 to 157 East 2nd Street. This is needed for the closing, which is going to be financed by New Jersey Redevelopment Authority. This easement allows us to maintain access to the properties as this is municipal lot 6. And moving forward with the closing is required to have this easement agreement signed. The next resolution is related to 169-25. This is to designate an area in need of redevelopment. It would be a non-condemnation, and to direct the planning board to prepare a redevelopment plan. This is for 208 to 222 Lee Place. The property that we're looking at right now is to move forward with the redevelopment, working in partnership with Habitat for Humanity to build affordable homes for townhomes for sale. Item number 170 through 25. This is related to the Plainfield Recreation and Cultural Center of Excellence. This is the final redevelopment agreement as well as the land purchase agreement. What's in here is that this identifies the purchase of the property where we're going to subdivide one of our lots, where you're going to have a 55,000 square feet recreation and cultural center. Then behind it, why we're subdividing it is, and that's the land purchase agreement, that's for a residential area. So the residential area and the property that we're subdividing out, the purchase of it is going to be for a total of $3 million. In addition, we're also receiving $500,000 towards the construction of the 55,000 square feet Center of Excellence. That's the YMCA building. The next one, 171, this is related to the pilot for the Plainfield Recreation and Cultural Center of Excellence. This is a housing and mortgage finance agency pilot. It will go as a 30-year duration, but it also goes for the duration of the construction as well. So if it takes 2 years for construction, the pilot will be for 32 years and starts after the construction, getting the revenue for that. This is for a flat 6.28% for the entire duration because this is a 100% affordable pilot. Then the last one that we have, this is a resolution authorizing lien placement on 6 properties. This is for property maintenance, for cleanup of debris and the abatements related to that. Any questions?
Any questions from council members? Yes.
Before questions, if I can just amplify on resolution 170, which has to do with what we more often than not refer to as the Center of Excellence, but in essence, it's a recreational facility. And it's the largest investment that the city will be making in a recreation space for the enjoyment of all of the people of Plainfield. And I know that all of you have heard time and time again that there's no real recreation facility for the residents of the city. And so you know what is coming down at the Rushmore Recreational Complex. But this Center of Excellence is in essence a recreational complex that would offer state-of-the-art recreational opportunities for all of the people of the city of Plainfield. And so I just want to point that out, that this is the largest investment in recreation in the city's history, and it is something that we anticipate will have a tremendous impact on recreation across these places. So I just wanted to make sure that I amplify that so that you, members of the governing body, know that you're really talking about a recreational complex that will have basketballs, track, pool, the whole 9 yards when it comes to recreation, as well as a gym, and there will be space for classrooms. Parents can come, use the facilities, and the kids could occupy themselves doing homework in the classroom that will be available there as well. So I wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Council President?
Yes.
Mayor, is it possible at the next council meeting to show pictures or visuals of what the Center of Excellence would look like?
We can show the inside renderings of them. What we're developing right now, the final renderings will go before the planning board. So we can see the exteriors of the YMCA, the interior of the YMCA
Yes.
building.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, Council President. I don't know if I'm mistaken here, but I thought this was regarding selling the land and the apartments that are being built. I didn't see anything about the actual Center of Excellence on here. Did I miss something?
This involves both because the land that we're selling, the current YMCA building sits on top of it.
Yes, so, okay.
It has
So-
to imbibe, they're not separated.
Okay, I was just making sure I didn't look over and miss anything, because I was just hearing a presentation about the Center of Excellence. My first question is regarding 167-25, which I believe is, I'm happy to see this on the agenda. You can just correct me if I'm wrong, so I kind of did my own research. And we did work with this company in the past, correct?
Yes, this is our historic architect.
Yes, okay. All right, so what I gathered from this, that these guidelines will help strengthen and protect our historic neighborhoods. They'll update the design guidelines. The city will have stronger legal framework to protect historic homes, buildings, and neighborhoods from inappropriate development, modifications, or demolitions. This will also help preserve the aesthetic, cultural, and architectural history of Plainfield, ensuring that new construction and renovations do not destroy the historic integrity of the city. Also, will it enhance the code enforcement power? Once adopted, the HPC and the City Council will have greater authority to reject inappropriate designs or development in historic districts, enforce property maintenance standards for historic homes, and prevent developers from drastically altering or destroying historic properties. Am I correct with my thinking?
This pertains strictly to the historic districts, and the historic guidelines are going to be administered by the Historic Preservation, you are correct, but it will be enforced by the Property Maintenance Code of Zoning as well as the code enforcement that we have.
Okay, and so finally, getting to the question, this is where the hypocrisy kicks in. This current administration has significantly weakened the power of the Historic Preservation Commission, allowing the developers to build the massive apartments and complexes and kind of do what they want. So why now are we saying we're going to go forward with this? Thank God it's a grant and it's no cost to the taxpayers, but why are we now creating these guidelines and strengthening the power here? Why now? When just, what was it, 2 meetings ago or last meeting, there was also something on the agenda that was tabled that will also weaken the power of the historic districts. So finally, the question is, why now?
We're updating the guidelines because these have been in place for well over 10 years. This is related to the historic district and doesn't necessarily speak to the development of an entire city.
Okay, 171-25. One second here as it loads up. So the units there, and I was reading this and I just wanted to make sure it was correct. So 250 affordable housing rental units, approximately 6,000 square feet of ground floor commercial space, and 75 parking spaces. Is that correct?
That's correct. What's on that site over there, there will be additional parking made available for the 250 units.
Okay, so my just thinking is, if we are putting money into the YMCA, which had the basketball court, the track, all of those things, that's going to bring people to it, I would hope, and that many of these people drive cars. So if we're doing that right across the street from City Hall, in addition to adding 250 units, why are we allowing them to only provide 75 parking spaces, and it's going to be commercial as well?
We're not allowing them only 75 parking spaces. It'll be a total of 275 parking spaces that'll be required.
Okay, where would the 200 be?
We're going to be presenting that at a later time.
Okay. That is it for my questions. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Council President, can I just follow up? Director, you may or may not know, so again, if you don't, that's fine. Is there an obligation of realtors who are selling homes in the historic district to make their potential buyers aware that, one, this is a historic district, and two, to point them in the direction of these particular information booklets so that the buyer can fully be aware of the responsibility and, to a certain extent, loss of autonomy in terms of making decisions about their homes when they choose to purchase in these areas? Do you know if that's a requirement?
If they do not make it available, when you go for your certificate of compliance, code enforcement makes it available to them of the requirements. And they cannot sell or purchase a home without a certificate of compliance.
Yeah, that's a little bit after the fact at that point. Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yes, with regard to 167-25, would this serve as like a how-to or the do's and don'ts when working on your historic home in the historic district? Because I getting some feedback that it's relatively painful to go before the historic board. And will this help, I guess, new homeowners of historic homes that don't really know the do's and don'ts?
It will. It identifies all the preservation principles that are required. It identifies the different building types that are allowed. It talks anything from looking at the exterior of the building to the interior of the building, looking at the site, the streetscaping, looking at everything from the windows, the fence, the roofing, to the doors and the trim. It is very detailed.
And will this be available online?
Yes, it
Okay.
is now.
Okay, perfect. I've got another question regarding 172-25 with regard to keeping our city clean. These liens that we place on properties, of course, when us council members, when we get complaints from our constituents regarding illegal dumping and things like that, and when it's done on private property, can you explain the process that occurs before we actually place the liens on these properties, before we actually go onto these properties to do the cleanup?
Sure. So code enforcement will go out to the property and do a site inspection. At the site inspection, there could be a notice of a violation issued. That violation, the property owner gets up to 10 days to clean up the property. If they do not clean up the property, there is a summon issues, and if there's a need for a summons and it's still not clean up, there's an emergency abatement to clean up the property. And then instead of the city incurring that cost, that is passed on to the property owner.
Thank you. Those are my questions, Council.
Any others?
Yes, 16925. That's the Lee Place area. Could you repeat again what's going to go on that property? I believe that was the property I spoke about before. That used to be the old Magnolia Cleaners. And I had a concern about where that was located because of the cleaners. And not only was a factory, it was something there was a lot of chemicals and things going on in the ground. Now, if it has been inspected, how would we know what details are available so that we know that this is true, that it has been inspected, this particular property?
So the site has been investigated by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. The previous property owner that has the contaminated soil is required to do the cleanup. The property owner is in coordination with the city to do the cleanup before the affordable townhomes with Habitat for Humanity are built.
And how many townhomes are going there?
We don't know yet because we haven't seen the concept drawing. Right now, what's in front of you, this is to develop the redevelopment plan for the bulk standards for that area.
Okay, thank you. Also, just another little small question. How many historic sites do we have?
10 historic districts.
And where are they all located?
They're mostly located in Ward 2
Okay.
and 3. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? We have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
No.
With the exception?
No.
of a few.
16925, no for me.
Was that your same?
I have 167-25, 170-25, as well as 171-25.
So we'll vote on those separately.
Thank you.
Okay, we now move to the,
Council President, if I could just clarify,
sure.
that's 167, 169, 170, and 171 coming off the consent agenda. Correct?
Correct. All right, let's move back to the BA.
Thank you, Council President. We have two ordinances for you tonight. The first one is a response to a meeting that some residents had with the police director regarding concerns at Liberty and West 6th. And so this is a four-way stop. As is the normal process, he did the traffic study, et cetera, and There'll be a four-way, we're looking to put a four-way stop at that intersection for everybody's safety. And the second ordinance is a amendment to the TODD South redevelopment plan. This is an amendment that is adding land, but also uses to the plan. So this would add recreational space and arts and culture. And those are the only two we have this evening.
Okay. Any questions from council members? Okay, hearing and seeing none, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right. Okay, that's it. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, come back, and get to our voting meeting. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we will resume business. Moving first to consideration of public hearing, second reading, and final passage. Madam Clerk, this is our time. Please read MC Deputy 2025-05 by title and further certify that it's complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2025-08 is an ordinance Garden State Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy CPACE program to facilitate the financing of CPACE projects. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on February 14th, 2025.
Floor is now open to any member of the public that would like to speak on this particular ordinance. Is anyone online? Seeing none in the gallery, hearing none online, floor is now closed for public comment. May I now have a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call, MC 2025-08, council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Sessoms,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2025-09 by title and further certify that it's complied with all legal requirements.
MC 2025-09 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the Myrtle Avenue redevelopment plan dated January 16, 2025. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on February 14, 2025.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak regarding MC 2025-09. Anyone online? Seeing none in public, hearing no online, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call, MC 2025-09, council members Briggs Jones,
No.
Cherry,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Wyatt,
No.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Thank you. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2025-10 by title and further certify its legal compliance.
MC 2025-10 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union granting a tax exemption with respect to certain property identified on the city's tax map as Block 218, lots 23, 24, and 27, and designated in the city tax records as 25 Clinton Avenue, 21 Clinton Avenue, and 1314-20 West Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with 1314 West Front Street Urban Renewal, LLC. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on February 14th, 2025.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak specifically regarding MC 2025-10. Anyone online? Seeing none in person, hearing none online, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call, MC 2025-10, council members Briggs Jones,
No.
Cherry,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Wyatt,
For point of clarification, this is the same project where the studios are deemed affordable, $2,031, and the one-bedrooms are going for $2,380, correct?
Council President, it's improper to ask questions in the midst of a vote.
Well, we move so fast. Okay. So I had to ask my question before I vote on this. We moved, was properly second, we didn't have time to call a question, so can we do it over, if that's the case?
We're just doing a roll call. That's all we're doing.
It's a vote, right? So I can have clarification before I make a vote?
No, and frankly, there was opportunity to discuss it at the prior meeting. Questions could have been asked in advance. The proper procedure now is a vote, Council President.
Okay.
No.
Vice President Sessoms?
Yes.
Council President Hockaday?
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. The ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please read MC 2025-11 by title and further certify its legal compliance.
MC 2025-11 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union, New Jersey, enacting amendments to the TODD South redevelopment plan. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on February 14th, 2025.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak specifically regarding MC 2025-11. Is there anyone online? Seeing none in person, hearing none online, entertain a motion and a second to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Roll call MC 2025-11. Council members Briggs Jones?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Vice President Sessoms?
Yes.
Council President Hockaday?
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, thank you. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2025-12 by title and certify its statutory publication requirements.
MC 2025-12 is an ordinance amending Chapter 9:7-1, Schedule of Fees of the City of Plainfield to establish vendor fees for the Lenny Cathcart House Music Festival. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on February 14th, 2025.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak regarding this ordinance. None online? Seeing none in person, hearing none online, entertain a motion and a second to close public comment.
So moved.
Yes, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, can we have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2025-12. Council members Briggs Jones?
No.
Cherry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
McCray?
Yes.
Wyatt?
No.
Vice President Sessoms?
No.
Council President Hockaday?
Yes.
4 in favor, 3 opposed. Ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, that concludes those. We now move on to public comments, limited to resolutions and motions being considered this evening. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for public comments, limited to resolutions considered this evening. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. If you're a member of the public online, on YouTube, the number is displayed on the screen or on the city's website. Please use your name, address, and identify the resolution that you're speaking regarding. Is anyone online? You want to speak regarding a resolution this evening? All right, come on up then. All right, name, address, and the resolution you're speaking to.
Kwame Palmer Chambers, 1227 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey, Department 43. Try it again. All right, do that again. Kwame Palmer Chambers, 1227 East Front Street, Apartment 43B, Plainfield. First, I'd like to say Ramadan Mubarak to everyone who is celebrating, and I want to speak on 167-25, and it has to do with the historic preservation. I'd like to know that once these areas in the second ward get these preservations in terms of what can be done with the existing property that is there so that potential homeowners will know what's expected of them. What about any new construction that goes there? Does this mean that it protects them from having any of these behemoth buildings built in their areas with 2 parking spaces for 25 apartments? Is this a nice way for them to protect their areas from being subject to the redevelopment that other areas do not get this safety and protection from? And also, one of the first things I said when I came here, I talked about home ownership being the pathway for wealth building in the United States, and we know the historic procedures that have been done to keep certain groups from being able to own property, and therefore other groups have a 300-year wealth jump on us to buy property. So therefore, when some of these properties go online for sale, there might be certain demographics that can snatch them up and preserve a little piece of enclave for themselves, where other demographics don't have the credit score, the family wealth, the equity in what they already own to be able to purchase these houses, and then have to get a loan above and beyond to make sure that if they do any work on the outside, and I believe you said on the inside of these properties, it might cost double the amount just to get it to where the historic preservation says that they can have it. So I'd like to look at that to make sure that we don't have anything written in there that would deny someone who might not have the level of wealth that others have to be able to own in Plainfield, and that other wards are not subjected to 55-unit apartments with 3 parking spaces because they have not been designated historic. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I am closing public comment on resolutions concluded this evening. Director, did you want to just address that quickly? There was a few questions peppered in there, but specifically any thing that you may need to correct or address.
Sure. So I just want to be specific. These are historic guidelines related to historic structures, not all development. So when we look at the designated either historic structure or designated districts, it's going to apply to that. The others, I'm not necessarily going to speak to if it applies to other forms of development because that's not a part of the guidelines. But what I would say, if anyone that wants to look at the design guidelines, it is currently available online. If you go under the Economic Development Department, Historic Preservation, and click on Design Guidelines. And we can make it more prominently available if need be.
One just direct question is, within a historic district, is new construction permitted?
It depends on, it has to meet the guidelines. So there isn't new construction typically permitted for single-family and two-family homes there.
Sorry, Director, you said there is or is not?
It's not typically.
Okay. Any other questions?
If a charrette take place, right?
We're going to have a public information session, yes.
Okay. All right, so we will now move on to the consent agenda. Clerk, please announce that.
Certainly, the consent agenda items are identified as resolutions R-14725 through R-16625, R-16825, and R-17225. The items which will be voted on separately are resolutions 167, 169, 170, and 171.
Okay, thank you. May we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, can we have a roll call on the consent agenda?
Roll call on the consent agenda items. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
Consent agenda items have been approved.
Okay. Non-consent agenda items are next.
Resolution 16725. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on Resolution 16725. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. 16725 has been approved. Now come to Resolution 169.
Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call Resolution 16925. Council members Briggs Jones.
No.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. Resolution 16925 has been approved. We now come to Resolution 17025.
Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Resolution 17025. Council members Briggs Jones.
No.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. 17025 has been approved. We now come to Resolution 17125.
Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Roll call 17125. Council members Briggs Jones.
No.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
No.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. 17125 has been adopted, and that concludes resolutions this evening.
Okay. Let's move to the items on first reading. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2025-13 by title.
MC 2025-13 is an ordinance for a four-way stop intersection at Liberty Street and West 6th Street to amend and supplement Chapter 16, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 7, through streets, stop intersections, stop and yield intersections, designating certain four-way stop and three-way stop intersections.
Okay. I will now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So, second.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2025-13. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on the first reading.
Okay. Madam Deputy, would you please read MC 2025-14 by title?
MC 2025-14 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield and the County of Union adopting the TODD South Redevelopment Plan Amendment dated February 20th, 2025.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2025-14. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Sessoms.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on first reading, and that concludes ordinances on first reading for this evening.
Okay, before we get to general comments, I want to hand it over to the mayor, who has a resolution for D9. The floor is yours, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Council President. If you will recall, at the last meeting during Black History Month, we read a proclamation into the record where we were recognizing the D9 fraternities and sororities. And at the time, the president of the National Pan-Hellenic Council was not able to be present, and he's with us this evening. I would just like to call forward Sherlock Dow to receive this proclamation. And since I read it into the record the last time around, I will only read the last 2 paragraphs. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor of the city of Plainfield, on behalf of its residents, proudly recognizes the invaluable contributions of the D9 in honor of African American History Month. And be it further resolved that the city of Plainfield encourages all residents to learn about, support, and celebrate these historic organizations that continue to shape our nation and build a brighter, more just future for generations to come. And at this time, I'd like to ask you to just say a few words about the D9. Folks don't know what a D9.
Thank you, Mayor Matt. First, so let me say thank you, and thank you to City Council for allowing me to come up and speak and accept this gracious proclamation. The Divine Nine is comprises of 9 Black Greek lettered organizations. Those Greek organizations are Alpha Phi Alpha, Phi Beta Sigma, Sigma Gamma Rho, Delta Sigma Theta, Omega Psi Phi, Zeta Phi Beta, Iota Phi Theta, and Alpha Kappa Alpha. It's important that these organizations have started, my organization being the first, Alpha Phi Alpha, since 1906. So we've been around for a while. We're here in Plainfield. We do a lot of work community work within the city of Plainfield, along with all of our council people and the mayor. And we just want to thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for the partnership that we have with you.
And what he didn't mention is that 5 of the 7 council members are members of the D9.
Yes.
We present this proclamation to you.
Thank you so much.
He also, Cap is going to take pictures with him. You forgot it.
Yeah,
You left us out.
I think I heard Cap Alpha Psi. They usually say, get in the cut. Get in the cut.
Not there yet.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, we'll move on to general public comments. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. The floor is now open. For any member who's online, you can visit, the number is displayed in YouTube conspicuously, as well as posted on the city's website. The floor is now open.
Nancy Pivar, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. First of all, I want to thank that council for recognizing the Girl Scouts. I was a Girl Scout of Brownie in Jefferson School, and I think I might have told this to Councilwoman Sessions, or not, I'm not sure. But my mother was one of the first ones in the city that integrated her Girl Scout troop. Back in the 1950s, early 1950s, Clara Green was one of the first. Councilman Green's, former Councilman Green's daughter was one of the first Girl Scouts accepted into my mother's Girl Scout troop. So I just want to make, the history goes way back during some difficult times in the city. My other issue tonight, or question, is we all know what's going on down in DC, and there's going to be a lot of protests this week. The veterans are protesting, APWU is going to be protesting, the NELC letter carriers are going to be protesting. My concern is, I do have friends, I was a federal worker at one time, I do have friends that are federal workers that are impacted by some of the firings. I looked up on the Congressional Research Services. The state of New Jersey has 22,000 federal workers, over 22,000 federal workers that could be impacted. District 12, which we are in, Congressional District 12, we have over 4,800. There is a margin of error about 1,500. So in this area, we have 3,400 people that are possible federal workers, whether VA, Park Service, USAID, whatever, I don't know. My concern is the city of Plainfield going to reach out to any federal workers that have been impacted by the budget cuts or whatever, the firings? These people are living, they don't know day to day whether they have a job or not, but if we haven't looked into it, I would hope that we would consider looking into try to help if anybody's impacted in the city of Plainfield. I know that there are a lot of postal workers, but right now they're not impacted, but who knows what's going to come down the pike. And the other thing is I really want to thank Mr. Dabney, Mr. John Louise, and council people for helping clean up the area behind the Drake House and also cutting down some trees. And the workers that did all the work. They did a fabulous job, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Sal Carano, 1284 East Front Street. I just want some clarity. Is it my understanding that I heard that we have 10 historic districts, and if there's a lot between two historic homes, that there's no specifications on new construction? There's nothing in the preservation books, there's nothing protecting either neighborhood or homes on each side? That's question number one. The other one is, does the public have assurances that the building you're referring to on 5th Street and others have the parking simultaneously built to equal what is necessary for that, for the units that are built in that building? Or will the building come first and then we'll get around to a parking deck or open parking spots? Thank you.
Excuse me, Quanic Chambliss, 1227 East Front Street, apartment 43B, Plainfield. First of all, I just, like, you know, as an African-American woman, and I say African-American and not black on purpose, it really made me feel good at this meeting, and I believe the one in January, to see these two young sisters being promoted to leadership in the city of Plainfield, which is a great example of that, of how we are moving forward and making sure that all who can and will have opportunity in the city of Plainfield. So that was a good thing. It made my heart sing. As someone who's an elder statesman now. But keeping in the conversation of DEI, and I wrote it out this time, I would like to know what the city and its board is doing, and the administration is doing to protect DEI in Plainfield. But I'm not talking about the DEI whose policies have done more to advance the upward mobility of white women in America, but a DEI program that looks like diversity of thought, equity in access, and inclusion of all residents in the process of decision-making that affects their life. Because this is where I see we are missing in the concept of DEI. Because clearly there is no commitment to encourage diversity of thought. Often those who think differently are met with pushback that comes from a place of arrogance, paternalism, audacity. It's almost like you're being asked, how dare you question me? Clearly, there is no commitment to make sure residents are informed of what aspects of their lives will be voted on each week. If you exclude weekends, the agenda comes out maybe 14 hours before the next business day and the council meeting. So if it comes out at 5 o'clock on Friday, if we take Saturday away, if we take Sunday away, 24 hours would make 5 o'clock on Monday, which is 2 hours before the meeting. If a person is working all day long, they might not have time on a Monday to sit, read everything, ask the necessary questions. That is a block to access. The council doesn't even have enough time to research proposed ordinance and resolutions before they're expected to vote on them. Though I did hear a lot of questions tonight, and that made me happy, Dr. Sessoms and Councilwoman Cherry. And if we should have a question, your directors are always in meetings, and they do not return calls. I will not name names at this time to give them opportunity to correct this gross oversight and lack of commitment to transparency that the mayor promotes, but this has to stop. Finally, there is no commitment to making sure residents of all wards are informed of any changes coming to their neighborhoods that might change the aesthetics or property values. You say you are dealing with blighted areas, and I agree, but they still have a right to even determine what they want to happen in those areas.
Thank you.
And last name, because going off, it's a shame that I go to a meeting and someone says there's two Plainfields. There's Plainfield and then the Fourth Ward.
Thank you.
We have set up a situation that Martin Luther King talks about,
Council President.
and that certain areas are not
Thank you.
addressed, and we need to stop that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I live in the second, but I care about the fourth.
Thank you.
The first, right, the first. I care about the fourth.
Good evening, I'm Mr. Seidenstricker at 225 Watchung Avenue. And I was very happy to see what happened with the Girl Scouts. Congratulate the town for us. 300 girls is a lot of energy. And I thought it was really interesting that Lynn, our Assemblywoman, was here. And I would suggest that this council, having passed the resolution to support ITA, would talk to Ms. Carter, to Scutari, and Kennedy, because the three of them have not come out to support the Immigrant Trust Act that you supported with your gracious resolution. So thank you for that, and I suggest that you make a call for the three of them. We're calling, but I guess your call is a strong one too. Thank you.
Is there anyone online? Hearing, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion and a second to close public comment.
So move.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Public comment is now closed. Director, there was a question, just a clarifying question about development in the second ward or in the historic sections.
In the historic
Yeah,
district.
in the historic
So
districts,
there definitely are, we have zoning in place, the land use zoning that applies to everything in the historic district, as well as the guidelines of the historic district. So to say that a property is not protected in between is not necessarily true. And I could elaborate on specifics if we're talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you and Sal can just ask you some questions after the meeting if he
Okay.
has anything specific.
There was also another question about building without the parking, I believe. So the question about not having the parking and the building at the same time, that will not be approved by Planning Board. Planning Board will only give approval with the number of units and the required number of parking according to the redevelopment plan or according to the land use ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I think that's it.
Council President?
Yes.
I may have a quick question. So regarding the Peterson's Farm, I understand that there's going to be a meeting taking place. I find it extremely disrespectful that as a council person representing the second and third ward, that I was not on any of those emails. And thank you to our citizens, our residents, who stayed diligent. They reached out to me and said that it was one date, and then they just found out it was rescheduled. But as a person who represents the second and third ward, to not have that information or invitation, I just find extremely disrespectful. So can we please do better with the communication moving forward regarding these meetings?
Any other questions, comments? I didn't know about it, so.
Council President, I just have to say, I wasn't on any emails either, but because I talked to the residents, I was made aware of what was going on, so I just wanted to be known that I didn't get an email either, but I just kept my ear to the ground and kept speaking to the residents.
Yeah. I wasn't aware either, so. Okay. Any other questions? All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Second.
Aye. Aye. Yes.